Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is Memory here. We are back with some more 86. It's being episode 6. Previous episode, big reveal with the Legion, right? As we saw the opposition, how they are progressing, what they're actually doing. And with that reveal, like, honestly, it puts a lot of things that we've had even up until this point into more of a perspective, or things like make more sense now that we've had this reveal. So it was definitely big. And then also, obviously, the stuff with Shin's brother as well, and what Shin is trying to find his brother. Well, at first I was like, okay, you're trying to find his body, but no, like I said, that's been put more into perspective now with what the Legion are actually doing. That was also, it has to do with Shin's brother as well. Another thing I really liked about the previous episode was seeing, like, okay, how was it with Lena in Ray? And we saw that in the previous episode a little bit, right? So we saw that, but then we also saw how it was with Shin and his brother. That scene, I cannot get that out of my head. The scene we saw at the end of the previous episode, and Shin still has the mark around his neck from when apparently he tried to choke him out. It just how they visualized all of that was crazy at the end of the previous episode. I love, like, it was like the cracked, like, glass or the mirror or whatever, like, it went through the middle, and then you had, like, the tape on it as well. Like, that was just really clever how they visualized that. It looks like we're gonna start off with the flashback here, so I don't know, we'll see what we have with this episode. We're gonna get into this episode in 3, 2, 1, go. Jeez. Scared, kind of scared me a little bit, no lie. And we got Shin here, obviously a bit younger. Like, someone come in there, or like, what was that? Or I guess not. Okay. This is when he was, like, probably looking for his brother, right? Oh, this has to be where he found him, right? Yeah. Yep. Logo right there. Damn. And oh, his head is gone. Oh, and now this is like, oh my god, from what we learned in the previous episode, now this, like, there's just much more impact there. You know what I'm saying? And it's ironic because before the beginning of the before the opening hit in the previous episode, I was like, okay, Shin's trying to look for his body, but Shin had already found his body. It's just like the head was gone. And now what we know, with what the Legion are doing, it's like, oh shit, it's scary. It's scary, dude. Really. And then, like, even the Republic, like, underestimating them, just, like, not, probably most of them not knowing, probably, I would say, see, here's the thing, I say most of them because, I want to say most of them, because I would not even be surprised if there's some sketchy shit going on. You never know with politics and military and all of that, like, there could be some shady shit going on, you never know. But the majority, like, we're underestimating them, like, they don't know what the hell the Legion are doing, right? But yeah, it just puts so much more into perspective, like how Shin, when he would end off his comrades, because that was something that did catch my attention. I was like, okay, why you gotta do him like that, or like, why does it have to be like that? And now with these reveals, that's something that's put into a lot more perspective, for sure. right before about he inches away. Transition. So this is still like flashback stuff. Just some more time had passed to what we saw at the beginning of the episode. Some nice scenery here. Yeah, like keeping secrets, especially with the situation y'all are in. Like y'all could just be gone, like be gone, thrown into the pit anytime, any day. Really got time to keep in secrets, man. Oh, Theo just outed him. The one dude going like this. And there's Shin chilling in the background. I see him. It's kind of a sausage fest. And to see Kai here too, and to hear her, man, like, This is referring to Lena, probably, right? Boing, boing. Oh yeah, so it is, right? More and more of them are just gathering in here. We literally have like everyone in here except Shin. Obviously a goddess. The savior. I've been talking about, I think that's where they're going to go with it in the future. Like, she's going to be a key part in that, Lena. And also probably Shin as well, both of them, I was saying. It's like we are saying all that, but we know actually what it is. Hey, they are doing some dancing. Oh, okay, Daya. Daya just grabbed her and said, you get in here. Yeah. That's what matters, right? Ah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't mine to begin with. And we know what kind of, from what we heard with Ray in the previous episode, we kind of knew what he stood for from his conversation with Lena. So if you want to apply that with Shin and just taking action and not being all talk, that's something I think of with that. So I'll show you. I'll show, and we know what it is. I'm just waiting for the tone shift, man. Really. Because I know it's coming. If I've learned anything with this series already, it's like the wholesome moments usually aren't too long. It isn't 4 months. That was only 4 months ago. And she sounds up and at him. Phew. Jeez. Oh my goodness. See what I mean? It's like we had this wholesome stuff. It's just like straight back to business. It's not like super serious tone shift or anything, but still, I was waiting for it. That shit never lasts long with this series. Well. Ooh. Damn. It seemed like Daya might go from his reaction there. Yep. Are you sure you're fine? Oh no. Oh my goodness. Like suicide bombs or something? Like what? What the Dude, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about with this series. That's just the reality of it, like with these characters and with the I guess the reality of war and the position that obviously they're in with as being the 86, and it's like oh, was she able to? My goodness, was she? So she was able to like kill herself or like blow her brains out essentially before they were able to get to him. Is that what she was doing there? I think. See, it's like you have that wholesome ass flashback for the most part like that, right? And it's like next thing you know, 2 or 3 of them dead. Can't let Daya become a legion. See, now this just has a whole new sort of thing around it. Man. Wait, what? What was that? Or she's obviously not fine. Just how it goes to show you how just quickly things can happen with the 86, you know? It's like just 4 months ago we saw like what that flashback was, and we've lost Kai, we lost these two right here, Daya and the other girl. Still blames me. And he was, what was his brother saying, right? It's all your fault. He was like strangling him and all that. He said it like I think a time or two. Yeah. That mom and dad died. What the hell? Oh my gosh. You go to some birthday cake. You go to some birthday cake, man. Like this series, bro, in the tone shifts, man. It's like, yeah, happy birthday. You know, like they're actually pretty clever with how they do them, though. I will say that. It's like, yeah, the age ranges are all over the place. That kind of stood out to me for some reason there, like how she kind of had that certain like pause or like reaction there about people her own age or something. Do a thorough exam of their brain. Kind of funny that, especially with what we learned about the Legion, this whole thing about talking about that, right? Or am I looking too much into it? And I love as she was talking about that, she like you heard like the squash in like the cake, like yeah, right. That's instantly what I noticed too. How she like kind of stuck it in there like that. That's what this show does too. There's a lot of like little subtle like things like with the imagery that they do and all that. Probably that I don't even pick up on some things. I'll admit it. Yeah. And what was it, like 500 something names? She's saying, "Give us this." As she's, oh man. Yeah, we won't provide him with these things. We'll just let him keep going out there and just, even though it could be a trap or just could be whatever, just yeah, throw the 86 on it. And yeah, let's just send him right here. So on to the next thing. Saying to try and get the jump on it. And they're just like, okay, understood. We'll do it. Like they, like as always. It's almost certainly a trap, but we going anyway. They're sending us out anyway. It's like, yeah, does that make me feel a little bit better? Does it really? I don't know. I don't think so. And she's like, oh. Wasn't expecting that, huh? Yep. And even the way he was talking, too. See, it's like we get this, like the comparison she's making between the two of them, but then we saw that scene with him and his expression. What was his expression? Because what's in Shin's mind and head right now is the expression when he was choking him and what he was saying. Sounds like some love to me. The heartbeat. The she's like, wait, is that what this is? Yeah. Aw. Oh my goodness. That's what it is, though. That's what it is. Ooh. Nice way to leave off the episode. Very nice way. Maybe we don't have some after the ED. Lately, they've been doing that to us. I don't think we have anything after with this episode. All right. I think that's it. Next episode, Will You Remember Me? Okay, so this episode really, I mean, we had that bit obviously with Shin and his brother, and kind of they shed more light even on the scene where his brother was choking him out and all of that, talking about like the deaths of their parents and of him. Apparently, it's all your fault. That being on Shin's mind. We also had like the flashback. It was like what 4 months ago, I think, or something like that. It was just really how like because especially how they had like the focus with like Daya and also how they were talking about Lena. This was like before Lena came in and all that. But like with Daya, in the what's her name, Anju, I think again. Just with that, and then we skip ahead to the present, and then Daya dies. It's like. And it's not like I'm really attached necessarily to these characters, and I don't even think that really that's the point, is to get attached to these characters all like that. I think it's more so what comes with it, and especially the kind of effect that it has on Shin, or with Shin, and newly with Lena, now that she's obviously in there. But that's not really what the show is trying to do. I don't think is necessarily like with a lot of these side characters, get really attached to it's showing the reality of the position, the situation that the 86 are in, right? And obviously the reality of war, that's just what it is here, especially. But then like there's that, but there's also like what we saw even with Lena talking to her uncle about trying to get reinforcements for them and things to help them, and it's like denied, and they don't even get any reinforcements at all, and they're just sent on to the next mission. It's like that's what it is for them. It's like, geez, and you guys probably saw me. I was shaking my head throughout majority of that scene. It's like this is some bullshit, right? That's what it is, though. But Lena seems pretty determined. I've been saying that Lena is going to be. I don't know at what point it's going to be, but I feel like she is going to be the kind of like main sort of pillar, I guess, essentially. And I think Shin is going to be a vital part in that as well. Like the two of them are kind of going to be what starts to form or makes the bridge, I guess, between the Republic and between like the 86, or just like however you want to put the Albas and the non-Albas, and kind of brings the people together. This is probably some long-term shit we're talking. Hey, it may never happen. I don't know. But I said this, I think, since like episode 1 or episode 2, like Lena and Shin are really going to be the kind of pillars behind that. At least that's how I envision it, how I see it. But we'll see. That's really looking ahead toward the future. I also really still like how, much like how the previous episode did it, how they're using, or how they're utilizing Ray's character in the show. Because you have Lena with her certain experiences with him and talking about him in this certain way, and then comparing him to Shin, saying you're just like him. But Shin, at least what's been on his mind recently, is the scene where his brother's choking him out, saying it's your fault for all these deaths and whatnot, like with his parents and with him. And so I'm not saying or thinking that Shin's whole relationship was like that with his brother, although I think Shin did say he didn't remember much, right, with his brother. But even from what his brother was saying in the previous episode at the beginning, like with Lena, it seemed like their relationship wasn't all, I guess, bad unnecessarily, you would say. It just kind of, we saw it, I guess, reach a breaking point, or just when it reached that point, it was just like insane. But yeah, pretty good episode. Once again, really like the general direction that we had in this episode, how it was directed, the tone shifts. They're really clever with the tone shifts. I feel like it's hard to pull those off, but I feel like this series actually does a pretty solid job with the tone shifts, in my opinion. And it is, like I said, it's hard to, because I've watched shows where it's like the tone shifts they just won't work. They just feel odd, or they feel off. But this show does it pretty well. And that's also like the thing with this series. It's, most of these characters, don't get too attached to them, because we know the reality of this series and what it is with the 86. So yeah, let me know what y'all thought of this episode, man. If you guys did enjoy my reaction to this episode of 86, make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you do, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace out.